Hello everyone, I welcome you to our channel Master Financial Stability and Independence. This is a channel that is dedicated and focused on helping people, especially the young people and new entrants into the labor market, to find advice, support to manage their finances better, especially in these critical and uncertain times. So because all you need to stay afloat in this time is impeccable personal financial management skills and planning. This is what you need now. So today I welcome you to another interesting episode. Today is going to be so insightful, so you will find what we are going to discuss today so useful, and you will find them so timely. So I want to welcome everyone. If today is your first time of watching our videos, I welcome you. Thank you. I want you to sit back and enjoy this video. After enjoying, like the video. If you have a comment, leave us a comment, and as well subscribe to the channel so that you keep getting wonderful updates on how to manage your finances, the financial wisdom that you need to survive in this time of great economic and financial uncertainty. If you are a returning subscriber, if you have been our viewer, if you have been watching our videos and you found them interesting, I welcome you again. I said thank you, for that love and support, And today I want you to know that the video you're going to watch today, the advice, the insights that you will get today into your personal financial planning and management will be so mind-blowing. And today we'll be talking about something so insightful. And without wasting time, I want us to go straight into what we've got to discuss today, our discussions for today. And today we'll be talking about why relying, or why depending on bank facilities, short-term bank facilities such as credit cards and every other thing might not be a sound financial wisdom in terms of managing your personal finances. In terms of planning and managing your personal finances, it is not sound. So today we will explore that deep into the discussion. And for a start, why do people rely on bank facilities? Why do they take out bank facilities like bank credit? Like credit card, credit card, they take out credit card, they take out overdraft, and other forms of short-term, bank credit. Why do people take it? There is a reason. People always take it because of shortfalls in their income and the need to meet up with their expenditure. But that might not be the best approach to effective planning and managing your personal finances, especially in this time of uncertainty, of great economic and financial uncertainty. So people take out short-term bank credit to manage their finances, to make sure that to bring a balance between their income and expenditure. So people, but why do I think that it is not a good financial wisdom for managing? It is a good financial wisdom for managing short-term revenue shortfalls in your earning, in income. Shortfalls is such a great a great option. But when you talk about long-term uncertainty, but if we are sure that by next month you will get up to £5,000, £6,000, taking out a credit facility of about £2,000 this month to meet up your immediate needs with your I think so. I think so because there is something they call interest rate. For personal bank facilities, credit facilities, they call it APR. That is the cost of bank lending money to you. The cost to of lending funds to you is the APR. You see, so at the end, you're not going to repay just what you borrowed from the bank or what bank gave you in form of overdraft or credit card. You're going to pay some more money extra, and if you are not able to meet up with your immediate financial needs, how are you going to pay that? You see, and also so they're adding to what you have to pay. You see, so it's not a good financial, it's not wisdom at all. Financially, it's not wisdom, because if you take out bank credit to finance consumption, it's not. How are you going to pay back that money? Have you made an arrangement? So that is why it is not sound financial management, personal financial planning and management. It's not a good technique at all. You see, but bank credit, if you borrow in bank credit, you see, if you borrow in bank credit to either support your self-employment endeavors, opportunity, or maybe endeavors, if you're trying to go into something like web designing, you have to buy something like printers, you need some coding materials and everything. That is fine, because you are going into self-employment that has the capacity, the ability to generate revenues, to generate incomes with which you can pay off that credit. But for you to take out credit just to fund your consumption patterns is not a good sign, because it is adding to your chances, your possibility of default. You see, you can default on payment. If you are not able to meet up today, how are you going to meet up tomorrow? You have to sort out, first of all, the option. How are you going to pay back before you take out these things, these bank facilities? You see, so that is the wisdom there. That is the wisdom there. You see, because you don't want to run into default. Default is, what is default? Default is your inability to pay back. And if you run into default, if you default on your payments, it's going to complicate your already their financial situation. It will compound it. You see, you would face the possibility of your falling credit rating. You will face the possibility of CCJ. You said you will face the possibility of CCJ, county court judgment. Having county court judgment is not a good thing. Or you also face the possibility of bankruptcy, being declared bankrupt. That is cutting you off from the financial system, from the credit system, from the banking system of the society. You see, and you don't want it for yourself, so that you can be able to take advantages of stuff like mortgaging, a lot of things, so that bank will consider you worthy for all those things. You see, so it is not. I wouldn't advise that. A lot of people have encountered a lot of people have walked out to me with that in this time, how are they going to survive? I've given some tips before in our previous about how to prioritize. You see, it's better to prioritize, to cut off some of those things which are not really a priority to you. So those things, instead of taking this bank credit, cut off some of your habits, lifestyle choices. You see, like drinking, cut them out. So save money from there. Sort of smoking, save money from there. If you party a lot, save money from there. But don't rely on banking, on taking out bank credits. You see, because that will compound your problem instead of solving, giving you a solution. It can be a solution in the short term, but it is not sustainable in the long term. You see, and you don't want something that you don't need. You don't need short-term solutions for long-term problems. Being an economic uncertain situation, financial uncertain situation, is a long-term prospect. because you don't really know when it will come to an end. So for you to rely on short-term measures to tackle a long-term issue is not wisdom. It's not financial wisdom, financial management wisdom. You see, what you should do, what you should focus on as of now is, if you are facing dwindling incomes, you see, and your expenditure still stays the same, if you're not able to cut your expenditures, is on self-employment. What can you do to generate more money? You see, I talked about saving. Try your propensity to save should be very high. You should aim at 80% propensity to save, marginal propensity to save. You see, that should be where you aim. Save as much money you can save. If you earn £1, if £1 enters into your pocket, your hands, try to save at least £80 and spend only £20. 80 pence and spend only 20 pence. Why do I say that? The more you can save, the better for you. Because if you can save more, you can invest more. But don't rely on bank credit. It's a short-term solution that is helping to combat, because of the fact that you have to pay back the principal with interest. You're not just paying the principal, but you are paying with interest. You see. And as of now, for you to even borrow, you don't have any money. So if you don't have any money, how are you going to repay the principal? Not to talk of the interest. You see. So that is the first thing you would think about when you have that option of taking out a bank credit to fund short-term revenue falls. In your income, you see, the first thing that you have to consider and decide on is, how will I pay this thing back? Because if not, you will run into the possibility of a default is very high, and you don't want that for yourself, because it will compound even your employability. You see, and the greatest of these problems is because if you declare bankrupt, or if you have a CCJ, or if you have a bad credit rating, a poor credit rating, it would hamper you to get back to work. You see, your chances of getting back to work is limited now. It's bleak. You see, because every employer will always say, let us see your credit rating, your credit history. How have you been managing your money? You see, because it is an indication to your personality. If you cannot manage your finances very well, if you're not wise in managing your finances, you might not be wise in every other thing. So that is why employers always ask for credit rating. Because if you're wise in managing your finances, your personal finances, there is a good chance that you're also wise in managing every other thing. But if you are not, there is a good chance that you are not also in other things. You see. So I would not advise you to do that. Rather, I would advise you to acquire new skills and consider acquiring new skills. What can I do for myself to generate income? What can I do for myself to cut down on my expenses? These are the things you should. And one I've spoken about them is skill of preference. Have a skill of preference. These are not basic. They are not necessary. They are not necessities. They are luxuries. If things are luxuries, cut them off. Like lifestyle choices. It's like smoking. Smoking is not essential. You can do without it. Try to cut it off, or cut down on your smoking. You see, if you're a drinker, if you're addicted to drinking, if you've taken that as a habit, try to cut down on that. If you've been drinking like 8 pints of beer in a day, cut it down to 2, or even eliminate it totally. You see, these are the lifestyle choices. If you have a car and now you're not working, it's not getting you to work, it's not everything, it's a liability to you. Although it is an asset because you can sell it. You see, but it is a liability to you as well, because you have to put petrol on it, you have to pay road tax on it, you have to put insurance on it, even when you are parking it in your house, in your garage. So what will you do? Dispose of it, try to sell it, and consider other options, transportation options. You can buy a cycling, you can buy a bicycle, cycle to work, cycle around to meet friends. for move to one place or another. You can think of other means of transport, like catching a bus. If you are living in a developed country, like the UK, the US, all these places, Australia, all these other countries, they are developed, they have a transport system that is reliable. You can rely on catching a bus. You see, if catching a bus is not okay to take you to longer distance, like moving from one city to another city or whatever, consider catching a train. Hopping a train, see something just to manage, to bring a balance between your expenditure and your income. You see, so that your financial situation will not become more compounded. You see, because if you allow that to slip into compounding your problem, it will be a disaster. You see, because there is a disaster already waiting to happen. Don't let it happen to you. You see, and another thing I would also recommend for you, if you found yourself in a critical financial situation, is consider many jobs. You see, no job is too many for a man who wants to earn an income to survive. You see. Now is not a time to be choosy. Now is not a time to say, if it is not this job, I will not do. If you found yourself in a financial uncertainty, in a period of financial uncertainty, it's not a time for you to be choosy. You see, because you've not got much options left. You have to do something to get yourself out of that place where you are. You see, already. So you need to do anything so possible. You need to do anything within your powers to get yourself out of that place. You see. You see, so I know that it is so compelling. It can be enticing. It can be very inviting, enticing. When you go to look at your bank credit, you can see that option where bank said apply for overdraft or apply for credit card. But resist that urge. Don't do it, because it is an invitation to a more disaster, to disaster. You see. Instead, think of other ways. Think of other more creative ways of cutting down on your expenses. Think of other ways of generating an income for yourself. Like self-employment is a very good opportunity for you. There are a lot of things you can do from the comfort of your home. You see, in the past, I've had people approach me approach even my students, some of my students, people I've helped and everything. They've told me that even people have approached them to be doing data entry for their companies from their homes, to be a website designer, to be graphic designers, to do a lot of things for them from the comfort of their homes. Even you can learn you can learn how to be coding, you can learn how to code. You see, you can transition, or at best try to look at what is actually working in an economy. Like now, there are jobs like project management. Is in constant demand. You see, jobs like project management, jobs like a developer, how to be a developer, become a developer. You can develop websites, you can develop applications. App developers, they are in constant and in high demand. You see, app developers. So try to see, how can I learn new skill to transition, to migrate from one job to another. For a job that is no longer in demand to a job that is in a high demand. You see, I believe that is a more credible and more sustainable plan, instead of relying on bank credits. I'm not saying that bank credit is not good. No, it's good. It might be it's good, but it is only good for short-term economy, short-term shortfalls in your in your earnings, in your earnings. It's not sustainable in the long run. For the long term, it's not sustainable. You see. At best, look for, at best, you can rely on government transfer payments, such as benefits. You see, cut down, but the most reliable way is cutting down on your expenditure. Cutting down, what are the things that take money away from you? Only do the basic ones, the basic and the most pressing. You see, anything that is a luxury to you, you can forego it. You see. I've spoken to a lot of bankers as regarding this. Even some bankers I know, they don't rely on bank facilities, you see, like credit cards, because of these very reasons I've told you. So if the people who are prescribing these things to you will not rely on them to manage their finances in a place that has got long-term economic uncertainty and financial uncertainty, why should you? You see, I'm not trying to give you a piece of advice. I'm not, these no opinions in this video, in whatever I'm saying is trying to advise you on what to do. No, I'm only suggesting something. I'm only bringing something to your consciousness for you to consider them. You see, when you want to make this decision, because the final decision is yours. So, but I'm only suggesting to you that when you want to make the decisions, consider all those things I'm saying now. You see, think about them. You still need you still need the services of an expert in finances, in personal financial management. You need an expert. But I'm only trying to tell you what has worked for me and what has worked for a lot of people that have advised in the past. You see. And I hope that these things, if you do these things, it will also work for you. You see, it will also work for you. You will come out smiling, you will come out better. You see, and not just only for this, managing these uncertain times, you will learn how to manage your personal finances for life. You see, you will learn them. So when you are whenever you will know what you should consider before doing anything, before taking a financial step, you will know what to consider in taking out any bank facility. Always consider two things. How do I repay back? What are my chances of repayment, of repaying this thing? So what are my chances? What are the chances that I will not run into a default? Because if you default on your financial, this is not good for your reputation. The second thing you have to consider is that every credit has a cost. There is a cost to the bank for lending you that money, and you have to pay. And bank will not give you money for free. You have to pay. So that payment, how much are you paying? Given your immediate financial circumstances, are you able to meet such payments? That is number two. The number three of what you have to consider is, do I have any other options? Do I have other options? Is taking out bank credit, this short-term bank facility, is it the only option available to me? Because resorting to borrowing should be the last option. When you cannot do any other thing, when every other option is closed, that is the only time you should depend on borrowing. You see, don't be that kind of a person who's at first, once the first consideration is to borrow. No. The first consideration shouldn't be that. You see. And if you must borrow, don't borrow to fund your consumption pattern. Don't borrow to function expenditure. No. Don't borrow to finance luxury. Borrow to finance capital project, capital activities that would bring an income for you to, with which you will repay the credit. You see, this is financial wisdom I'm telling you, I'm giving you. You see, always think of how will I pay? Is this the only option available to me? Do I have any other options? Because if you borrow, you are at the mercy of the bank. The bank can decide to, take enforcement actions against you. If you default, it can lead to an enforcement action. It can lead to the arrestment of your income, of your bank account. It can lead to, repossession. In terms of mortgage, if you have, they can repossess your house. They can repossess something. You see, they can come to your house. They can, a lot of things. And nobody wants to be getting the constant reminders from the bank. Constant reminders from the bank about your obligation to pay back a loan and your obligation to pay back a credit, your obligation to pay back. You see, nobody likes that. You see, it would drive your anxiety level. You see, your economic worries, it will give you a lot of economic worries, and you don't want that for yourself. So be wise. Be wise. You see, there are a lot of free back to work, government free back to work programs. Enroll in one of them. They are free, a lot of them. Enroll in one of them. Get something, get support, get government support to help get you back to work as soon as possible, because it is not sustainable being out of work and relying on the short-term bank credit. I'm not saying it's not a great way. It's a great way to bank credit. Bank credit is a great way to fund short-term falls in your incomes. You see, if you're expecting money, if you can't get money now until next month, and you have something to taking out an overdraft or taking out an overdraft, a credit card to pay for such things is okay. It's okay. If you're expecting to get 5,000 and you have a need of 2,000, you can use that, because when you get 5,000, you just remove 2,000 from it and pay. That is fine. But when in a period of economic uncertainty or financial uncertainty, like being made redundant, or losing your job, or being laid off from your job, is not a good thing to rely on credit. So don't do that. Don't always do that. Don't be in that habit. Resist that habit. Resist that urge.